Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you fling.
All right, what's up, guys? This is Tom Taylor with South China Morning Post. Joined this morning by one of my favorite guys in the whole sport to talk to, the monkey god himself, the strawweight champ, Jared Brooks. Jared, it's been a minute since I've spoken to you. We were talking a bit before I hit the record button about what you've been up to, what's going on these days. Obviously, a very exciting time in your life. Before we get into the fighting stuff, let's talk about this. You're going to be a dad soon. You mentioned the baby shower just happened. How are you feeling? How are you settling into this, this parenting life that's about to happen for you?
It's gonna be awesome, man. She's gonna have two awesome parents that love her indefinitely, and we have a big Italian family as well. So I mean, and my dad's already itching. I think that I'm just gonna have to take like sole custody from this whole family to get some time for my daughter. So she's just gonna be extremely loved, and she's gonna have a badass dad and a badass mom, and we're gonna if she wants to do the sport, then that would be great. But if she wants to do whatever she wants, then I'm gonna support her whatever she does.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like you're going to be a great dad, and certainly, she can always win those "my dad can beat up your dad" debates on the playground, right?
Hopefully, I don't know. If you talk to Alex, who knows? The world is super small. It might be Alex Pierre's, kid.
Right, right. But fair enough. Well, let's talk about the fighting stuff. Obviously, last time we saw you was a submission grappling match with Mikey Musumeci. Didn't go your way, but I thought you performed very well, considering the circumstances of that matchup, going against one of the best guys in the world in his own sport. How much fun did you have in there? What was that experience like for you doing that?
It was great, man. I had no anxiety running through the whole fight week, which I don't consider it a fight. I see Mikey is hitting mitts and everything like that now and getting into Muay Thai. I mean, dude, if he really wants to be about that life, then dude, come along with it. I thought he wasn't about that. That's why I didn't call him out after that. But if he wants to be about that, if he's just doing it for fun, then you know. But if he's about that life, then come on, Mikey. I'm definitely down with that matchup. Mikey is a huge draw, period. But I want to be the huge draw at the end of the day. And submission grappling isn't a fight, so it's a huge honor to go against somebody like Mikey though in his sport. I do consider it my sport as well because I'm a mixed martial artist, so I do every martial art. So when people are just like, it's not your sport, I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, I consider that a loss. And, people are just like, oh, you knew you were going to get beat by Mikey, right? And I'm like, no, I didn't. It was actually pretty upsetting that I got beat by Mikey because I literally thought inside of my head that I could go out and beat one of the best in the world. And I still do if I just got a little bit more time. I had 3 weeks to go against somebody that does it 10 times more than me, right? But if I had 6 months, man, and I could really study his game, I was getting hints of how he felt when we were in the ring. But man, it was an honor to go against him. He's such a great human being too, man. Like to feel his energy inside of that whole packed arena, it's just a huge energy ball when you get in that ring. So going against Mikey and feeling that is just a huge relief, knowing that I can go against somebody like him and nullify his jiu-jitsu game. If I was to punch him, yeah, he would have got knocked out. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting for a mixed martial arts fight because he's so good on the ground as well. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, that's something a lot of people are interested in his case, I think, just because he is obviously great at grappling. And now we've seen him hitting pads in Thailand and all over the place and stuff. And I mean, that's a very interesting idea. How do you think he would do in MMA if he made that jump?
I think that he would be, your average fighters like, Imanari. Imanari goes out and he will beat your average fighter with his jiu-jitsu. But you have to literally get hit so many times to learn the game. And I don't know if Mikey's willing to really, risk the brain cells and, risk everything, on the line. He studied the game in jiu-jitsu very well. So if he does that in Muay Thai, then, hats off to him. But I think that he's not going to want to take too many punches, especially from somebody that's a world caliber fighter like myself.
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't want to take a lot of punches from you either. I don't blame him. Talking about your, I hope you're not going to jump me or anything next time I see you. I think we're on good terms, right? All right, good. Yeah, feelings mutual, man. I appreciate you. It's great to be talking with you again. Like I said, we were talking a bit before I started recording about your next fight, the next MMA title defense. A lot of options in terms of dates, right? I mean, you mentioned the American shows that are planned for next year. Of course, there's this big show in Qatar coming up in November. What's the perfect time frame for you? Like, when are you hoping to make this happen? Is it yesterday? Like, what's the ideal time frame?
That was like 6 months ago. I was like, when I was at one championship event in Denver, I was just like, dude, I hope somebody fucking pulls out. Like, literally, I came there a day before just to make sure that if there was a weigh-in, I would make the weigh-in and there would be a fight. And I was training for that as well. And I've been training this whole time. Like, literally, I hope nobody thinks I've fallen off of the bridge or something like that, because I've literally been training for every one of my next opponents or the people that are above me in certain circumstances, kind of like Demetrious Johnson. So DJ is always on the scale for me, and I really want to go against him. But we also have, Joshua Pacquiao and Mansour. But those guys got to climb to me. I'm gonna be calling out the best of the next weight division. So it doesn't really matter who they call out for me. But one championship just needs to give me a fight and let me do what I love and go out and beat people's asses for the name of, the love for my child and the love for my family.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the grappling match was very cool, but not really a fight for a guy like you, right? When you're used to the punching and the kicking too. So you must be really kind of itching to get back in there at that point. And you mentioned DJ, of course, I know that's one you want, and I want to talk about that. But you also mentioned Mansour and Joshua. Great fight, obviously, and I think the winner of that one is going to be, right in line for a shot at you, I would say. First things first, I mean, are you surprised that matchup was made? I kind of thought they might give Josh a rematch. You seemed open to that. This one sort of came as a surprise to me. What about you?
Well, the only reason why I was open to the Joshua Pacquiao rematch, I mean, dude, I beat him pretty decisively. So the only reason why I thought the rematch would make sense is because I knew that they had to restructure the division. I beat everybody pretty decisively as well. So Josh was the closest to me. So I figured that, and Lito Adewang, he was going to go against Mansour first, which made sense. It made me excited, actually. I was just like, oh, okay. So, somebody to actually come into the top 5 needs to go through Lito, which Jeremy Miato, I wasn't mad at, right? I really wasn't mad at that because Jeremy proved himself to be in the top 5, right? But the reason why I wanted that Joshua Pacquiao fight was to make sure that I had a fight and they could restructure, right? But at the end of the day, things don't go, I don't know what was going on with Josh. I don't know what was going on with, the other sides of other opponents. I know that Bo Kong just got hurt. So, things happen. I get it. But I'm sitting at the top of the mountain and I'm eating the bones of Joshua Pacquiao, Bo Kong, and I'm ready to eat way, way more competition.
So, well, like I said, though, that Mansour and Josh fight, I mean, I would have to assume that's a number 1 contender fight. I don't know if they've made that really official yet, but I feel like the winner of that will probably be the most credible challenger for you. So having said that, like, who do you think wins that one? How do you see that one going?
It could go 2 different ways. It's like Mansour, he does have a fast shot and he's long, so he probably has that tendon strength. If he does get Joshua down to the ground, which it is pretty hard, but I mean, I did get Joshua down to the ground, and it's a little bit easier, going round by round, taking people down, like taking them down first and taking them down in the third, fourth, it gets a little bit easier at the end. So if it goes, to the 3rd round, I feel like Mansour could take him down and, see where things go from there. But Josh is actually really, really savvy on his defense and things that he's prepared on. But what Josh has got to do in this fight, if he wants to beat him, is 1, be confident in his skills, and 2, don't worry too much about the shot. Throw your techniques. So I feel like that's how you beat somebody like Mansour Malakaev. But Mansour isn't too savvy on the feet from what I've seen. I mean, he has a jab. He's your typical Russian fighter, while you have Pasiao. You don't see too many fighters like Pasiao. He's Sanda and Wushu mixed together, and now he's working with Winklejohns, and it's all crazy in the mix. So he's definitely a mixed martial artist, while Mansour is good at necessarily one thing. I think that if it goes the distance, then Mansour could catch him, but you can never count Joshua Pasiao out on a knockout.
That's a great breakdown, man. Very great breakdown, and I'm so excited to watch that one. Safe to say that you would be willing to give the winner of that one a title shot?
I'm kicking both of their asses. It doesn't matter. They know
All right.
they know who Daddy is at the end of the day. Much respect to both of them. They both worked the way up, did what they had to do, pay their dues. But hey, man, I'm the final boss, and I don't respect people until they beat me.
Fair enough, man. And how about Gustavo Bullard? I'm talking a lot about Mansour and Pasiao maybe getting the next title shot, but Gustavo's on a nice streak. He's won 3 straight, been around for a long time and won. Is that a challenger that you see at some point?
Yeah, he's like a mini what's his name? Yoel Romero. Like,
yeah, I like
guys
that.
Guys literally rah, 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 rah. Like, Scrappy Doo in the mix, dog. Like, literally. Yeah, he's super tough. I think that the competition that has been brought upon him, he fought at 35. He fought some good guys. Didn't he fight in the Grand Prix at 35?
I don't think was he? I can't remember,
Yeah,
man. There's been so many Grand Prix.
He was in the Grand Prix at a flyweight, and he came close to beating the Japanese fighter that went against Demetrious.
Tatsumitsu Wada, was that it?
Tatsumitsu, he fought Tatsumitsu, and it went good score. So I'm not saying that the guy is a slouch, but at the end of the day, he's pretty sloppy, and to be a champion, you have to be nitpicky, and I nitpick a lot of fighters' styles, and stylistically, it's a really, really bad matchup for him. I got kicks. I can defend his doubles and the things in my range stipulations and how I put upon fighters. I don't think that Gustavo's going to be ready for that kind of fight. I mean, I've been waiting. I mean, he sits there and says stuff on my Instagram, but I mean, I've been waiting just as much as him, or just as much as any other fighter, So I think that all these fighters saying that I'm just keeping the championship, like, shut up, man. Like, I want to fight every other month. I want to put on for I got a kid coming, I want to put on every other month. I want to have a good fan base, and you got to fight every other month to have that fan base, especially in the weight class like strawweight when you're trying to promote it,
Yeah, I totally get that, man. One of the main reasons I love interviewing you is that other than your charming personality and your handsome face and all that, is that you clearly you clearly study your opposition a lot. You know what you're talking about when I ask you about guys like Gustavo and stuff. It makes it really interesting to chat with you. So let's talk about the fight that you obviously want the most, or the one you've presumably studied the most, Demetrious Johnson. Is this something that you're still discussing with One Championship? Are you sensing some interest from them in making this happen?
I just sense that when the time is ready, the time is now. Demetrious, he's doing, Master World Jiu-Jitsu Championships. That's not Demetrious. He's fighting, So it makes me worried. And I want to see Demetrious keep on going. I love watching the guy fight as well. So if I could be his last fight, then that would be absolutely incredible to the fans and the people that don't know me. I think that it would bring a huge spotlight on how good I actually am, right? People don't even know that I went against Davis and Figueiredo. The UFC hid that. I beat some of the best in the world, including myself, right?
Right.
So
of course.
it's like, who do I beat at this point, right? And I'm looking for it. And One Championship is looking for people to beat me, right? But that's not going to happen, period. So you might as well just fight me, right? So One Championship, Demetrious Johnson, me, all in that one circle, man. That just sounds like gold to me.
It sounds like gold to me too, man. It sounds like one of the biggest fights one can make right now, certainly in terms of MMA. And like you said, the timing sort of seems to make sense on this for the reasons you said, and also because, after DJ's last fight with Adriano, they had Kyrad in the cage with him. It seemed like they were trying to set that up, and he wasn't even that excited about it, I don't think. And then
No.
Kyrad, of course, tested positive, so he sort of needs a big name, a dance partner. I mean, what could be bigger than the champion from a division down coming up?
I mean, they could be meant to Mikey in the mix, because he's doing mixed martial arts and he is such a big name. It makes sense, man. Like how the UFC is crumbling right now, it's ridiculous. Like the WWE UFC merger, like you're gonna see some athletes do a switch over, like the UFC athletes doing switchovers, which is cool. I think that's really cool. What happens when a WWE wrestler comes over to the UFC and he just gets pounded out, or they're just like, hey man, we need you to like take it kind of easy on this guy,
Right.
like it might come into terms like that. So it's like, I don't know, but Mikey is actually training, which is good, right? So if he ends up being in the mix and being a big name, but man, I could be the biggest name in one championship. They gotta put me in with these guys, and I really but at the end of the day, I gotta get paid, right? Like the way I get paid. I mean, I get paid right now really really good as a champion. Like one championship does pay their champions really really well, and their fighters overall really really well. So I'm thankful for that. But when you're talking about big names, you're talking about big pay-per-views, and somebody like me will come out of the blue and people will be like, who the hell is this guy talking shit about the GOAT? And then at the end of the fight, they're going to be like, oh, I get it now. Right? It's like, and that's what I've been doing my whole career. And then people forget, it's like people have Alzheimer's disease about me. It's like, oh, Jared Brooks, he's legit. He's a top 5 flyweight, right? Oh, actually, no. Then he has to do it again. I got to prove people again. I put it in your face, and then I spit it straight out. The haters, that's all good. I don't care. But at the end of the day, I'm going to prove to everybody that I am the best in the world. And I've already proved it to myself, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you've proved it to a lot of people already, I think, man. And people do have short attention spans in the sport. It's unfortunate, but all it ever takes is one win to remind people. So I hope you can get that opportunity soon. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but one thing I wanted to ask you about. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. One thing I wanted to ask you about real quick before I go, just in terms of big fights coming up. We've got Stamp Fairtex fighting Hamso He for the interim atomweight title, sort of the biggest MMA fight on the one calendar right now. I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that one.
Hamza is a wrestler-based fighter, right? Which I'm not saying she doesn't
strike.
have.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she doesn't have good striking. While you have Stamp is just she's actually mixed her abilities in well, and she's a 2-sport champion now in one championship, so she's going for a 3-peat, right? So, I mean, I don't count Stamp Fairtex out of anything, bro. I think Stamp is probably going to knock it out of the water, bring the house down. I love Stamp Fairtex and everybody else in one championship, and all the fans love Stamp Fairtex. I mean, why wouldn't I pick her? Yeah, I think that's a great matchup, though, and a great fan builder.
Yeah, definitely, man. Very well said. I agree with you on that. I think let me wrap it up with this. Like you said, it's been a while since we've seen you in there. When you get back in there, I mean, what can people expect? How are you going to remind people, what you're all about? And as a sort of follow-up to that, it's possible you'll be a dad when you get back in there. How much better are you going to be when you got another mouth to feed, and you've got that motivation to take care of this little girl?
Yeah, I mean, the motivation's been the past 9 months, man. You got to work until she's born, and then you got to work even harder. So the work is just, in the pudding. So that's all that matters. I'm going to be I've already honed a lot more skills in just this year, and it's given me a lot of confidence being the champion. So I can actually display those skills. And I only put just a little bit out against Joshua Pasiav. I think I beat Pasiav on the feet. I didn't think that he hit me as much as I hit him. So and my game plans, they just go on like a black hole. So I'm just going to keep on with the game planning and keep up with my competition and what they're doing. And yeah, they can forget about me all day. I'd never forget about them.
Awesome. And any final message for the fans before I let you go?
I love all of you guys. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the people that have been hanging with me this past year. This is only the start. I'm 30 years old. I'm coming straight into the prime of my career. So, Demetrious Johnson, anybody that is a huge star in one championship, I'm here to try to take your spot.